Yamuna Tiravanachari
Yashodanandana Braja
Yamuna Tiravanachari Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Jaya Gauranitai, 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 Jaya Gauranitai, 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 Jaya Krishna Balaram, Krishna Balaram, Krishna Balaram, Jaya Vrindavan Ram, Jaya Krishna Balaram, Krishna Balaram, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudiraye Nashtaprayeshu Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhakti Bhavati Naistiki. So, warm welcome everyone. Thank you for again joining us in this study of Srimad Bhagavatam and specifically Dhruva Maharaja's Pastime. So we are in chapter 9, Dhruva Maharaj returns home. I believe text 49 or 50 or we start from there. So text 48 onwards, we can read translations and continue this fascinating episode. So Dhruva Maharaj is returning home. And now the union with family members, but this union is in a different light altogether. The family members are also seeing Dhruva in a different light, and Dhruva Maharaj also seeing the family members in a very different light, or will be very soon. Soon they both will be seeing each other, but in a different light altogether. Now, see this question with dealing with family members in practicing Krishna consciousness. Now, so suppose someone's uncle is a monk, or even a sannyasi, a brahmachari, or a sannyasi in the practice of Krishna consciousness. Now, what are the ways of seeing the uncle say? One way could be, should I say, okay, this brahmachari or this sannyasi is my uncle. So the brahmachari or sannyasi devotee is my uncle. Another way of seeing is what? That my uncle is the brahmachari or sannyasi. Is there any difference between these two? One is the brahmachari or sannyasi is my uncle. And another is what? That my uncle is the brahmachari or sannyasi. So we try to understand with family relationships what Krishna consciousness means, and especially those who are husband and wife practicing Krishna consciousness. Wow, it can be very helpful, and at the same time one has to be very careful as well. If one's partner or wife or husband is a devotee, then how do we interact and live with devotees? And we should never take as such devotees for granted. That even though married and all, we should never take anything for granted. On this taking for granted, can I afford to take that this air which I am able to breathe? Can I afford to take it for granted? The sunlight which I am getting, the moonshine, the water, the heat, can I afford to take any of it for granted? What can I afford to take for granted? What is it in life that I can take? Yes, okay, take it for granted. So we try to check this, try to see this. It is very essential. We are trying to study Srimad Bhagavatam, we are trying to practice Krishna consciousness, but building the mood is utmost essential, most important. Building the mood, carrying a mood, uh, internally, introspective, and how do we plan our day, how do we shape our day, discipline, mind control, sense control, focus, and furthermore, what are we aiming for, what are we wanting, how much patience do we show, and how much enthusiasm, and furthermore. So this question again, what that particular devotee or that particular brahmachari or sannyasi, he is my uncle. One way of seeing it need not be say wrong as such. What's wrong? Yes, that devotee or brahmachari or sannyasi is my uncle. And another way, my uncle, he's a brahmachari or he's a sannyasi. He's a renounced monk. When someone, although it's not a very cultured word, dying, it's not a very cultured word, say. But say when someone dies, hardly society uses words like passing away and all, leaving the body and all. So generally, dying is very gross word. But let's say when someone dies, so what happens? A devotee also dies, and someone who is not practicing Krishna consciousness also dies. Externally, the same only. Someone who is practicing Krishna consciousness, a point will come in his or her life when the body stops functioning. And someone not practicing Krishna consciousness, same point will come in his or her life when the body stops functioning. So externally, what both have died, say. But this is again the question of consciousness that one person dies and another person leaves the body. Dying means ignorance. Leaving the body means living in knowledge and leaving also in knowledge. Dying means drop down, fall flat, right? Straight, okay. Dying. Dying is very gross. We don't want to die. We want to leave the body. And in order to come to a position to leave the body, we have to learn the art of dying before we die. Meaning, we have to die from all our material aspirations, aims, calculations, desires, especially this name fame. One has to completely get out of this mentality altogether. The sooner one can come out of name fame mentality. Okay, it is again imperative, I would say imperative, most essential to develop a mood in the practice of Krishna consciousness. Just by number of years doesn't make one anyone as such a saintly. Prahlad, Dhruva Maharaj 5-year-old only, na, and sadhana he did 6 months, only 6 months sadhana. Elsewhere we see someone such a long duration in practicing. So age may be or duration may be a big factor, of course. It is a good parameter, but just continuing as such doesn't make anyone sane. Mood has to be brought about, and Krishna consciousness is transcendental, or it is completely above the mundane strata, meaning there is no mundane qualification, or there is no mundane disqualification as well. It is completely above the material platform altogether. So we pray to develop a sincere, proper Krishna conscious mood. And when we have the proper mood, which will come about in good association. Bhagavati Achala Bhava. Bhava means mood also say. Emotion. Bhagavati Achala Bhava Yad Bhagavata Sangata. This is the sutra, this is the formula given in Srimad Bhagavatam itself. That Achal Bhav. Achal means unflinching. Chal means Chalaiman, which is moving, flickering. Achal, which is unflinching, fixed. completely fixed. So, in order to develop a fixed mood, fixed attachment, fixed bond, fixed connection with Krishna, say, how will it come out? Bhagavati, na, unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead. If I want to develop a fixed mood altogether, then I have to associate with those devotees who are fixed in that mood. That is the only way. That is the simplest, easiest, and the surest and the shortest way. So, with this aim, aspiration, prayer that we cultivate a proper Krishna conscious mood to advance further and further in Krishna consciousness with only one aim, with only one vision, one desire to serve Guru and Gaura, to bring joy to the divine couple, Shri Shri Radha Shyam Sundar, for their pleasure only. We should be practicing Krishna consciousness. Our pleasure, our joy is included in their pleasure. वैराग्य विद्या निज भक्ति योगा शिक्षार्थमेक पुरुष पुराण श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य शरीर धारी कृपा बुद्धिर्य तमहं प्रपद्ये मूकं करोति वाचालं पंगुं लंघयते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे श्रीगुरुदीनतारणम् वाञ्छकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्यैव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौरभक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। So now Dhruva Maharaj had darshan of Lord Narayan, and Narad Muni, he went back to the royal palace and he shared this news with King Uttanpad, father of Dhruva Maharaj, who at first was very astounded. He was like wondering whether it is real. Is it real? Is it really what I'm listening? And then he had faith in Narad Muni's words and all, and Narad Muni won't be joking like this. So the messenger, and then a messenger came to the palace saying what? Dhruva is returning home. Dhruva has been spotted in the forest and is coming towards the direction of home, towards the direction of kingdom. King Uttanpad was so pleased, he gifted him jewelry, garland, and gifted him the messenger. And now the whole family, the whole nation, city, and all is like just like currently Women's World Cup is going on, right? and Sunday would be the final. So I'm sure Spain or England, whichever country wins, then the people will all cheer and receive them. So in here, Dhruva Maharaj is being cheered and received by the citizens. Welcoming come home, hero is returning home, uh, and hero has achieved something slightly bigger than a World Cup trophy in this instance. So the denizens, they all are welcoming Dhruva Maharaj. So the two brothers, text 48 says, the two brothers Uttama and Dhruva Maharaj also exchanged their tears. They were overwhelmed by the ecstasy of love and affection, and when they embraced one another, the hair on their bodies stood up. Suniti, the real mother of Dhruva Maharaj, embraced the tender body of her son, who was dearer to her than her own life, and thus forgot all material grief, for she was very pleased. My dear Vidura, Suniti was the mother of a great hero. Her tears, together with the milk flowing from her breast, wet the whole body of Dhruva Maharaj. This was a great auspicious sign. The residents of the palace praised the queen. Dear queen, your beloved son was lost a long time ago, and it is your great fortune that he now has come back. It appears therefore that your son will be able to protect you for a very long time and will put an end to all your material pangs. Dear Queen, you must have worshipped the Supreme Personality of Godhead who delivers the devotees from the greatest danger. Persons who constantly meditate upon him surpass the course of birth and death. This perfection is very difficult to achieve. Similar, we see in Bhagavad Gita also Krishna says this. Uh, yeah, he says this to Arjuna, 12 chapter, text 6 7, that those who worship me, I free them from the ocean of material existence altogether, and instantly then and there. The sage Mitra continued, My dear Dhruva, Vidura, when everyone was thus praising Dhruva Maharaj, the king was very happy, and he had Dhruva and his brother seated on the back of a she elephant. Thus he returned to his capital, where he was praised by all classes of men. The whole city was decorated with columns of banana trees containing bunches of fruits and flowers, and betel nut trees with leaves and branches were seen here and there. There were also many gates set up, which were structured to give the appearance of shops. At each and every gate there were burning lamps and big water pots decorated with differently colored cloths, strings of pearls, flower garlands, and hanging mango leaves. In the capital city, there were many palaces, city gates, and surrounding walls, which were already very, very beautiful. And on this occasion, all of them were decorated with golden ornaments. The domes of the city palaces glittered, as did the domes of the beautiful airplanes which hovered over the city. So, actually, Srimad Bhagavatam is a historical fact, and when we study Srimad Bhagavatam, we understand what sort of civilization was there then. Huh? In bygone ages, in the golden age, Satyuga, in Treta Yuga, say the silver age, and then Dwapar Yuga, bronze age, and currently this copper age, Kali Yuga. When we study Srimad Bhagavatam, we see what civilization was there at that point in time, and engineering point of view, how advanced they were, tremendously advanced architectural and engineering point of view. When we see the pastime of Kardamuni and Mother Devahuti, the sage, he created an airplane from his meditation, from his vision, and what sort of airplane wherein so many people could be were living and traveling freely. So beautiful airplane he constructed, and we see this throughout different pastimes in Srimad Bhagavatam. All the quadrangles, lanes, and streets in the city and the raised sitting places at the crossings were thoroughly cleansed and sprinkled with sandalwood water, and auspicious grains such as rice and barley, and flowers, fruits, and many other auspicious presentations were scattered all over the city. Thus, as Dhruva Maharaj passed on the road from every place in the neighborhood, all the gentle household ladies assembled to see him, and out of maternal affection they offered their blessings, showering him with white mustard seed, barley, curd, water, newly grown grass, fruits, and flowers. In this way, Dhruva Maharaj, while hearing the pleasing song sung by the ladies, entered the palace of his father. Dhruva Maharaj thereafter lived in his father's palace, which had walls bedecked with highly valuable jewels. His affectionate father took particular care of him, and he dwelled in that house just as the demigods live in their palaces in the higher planetary systems. The bedding in the palace was as white as the foam of milk and was very soft. The bedsteads were made of ivory with embellishments of gold, and the chairs, benches, and other sitting places and furniture were made of gold. Now, where do we go get to see gold? It is very rare to see gold nowadays. People don't keep gold in their homes much, or if at all, lockers. See, funny thing with jewelry and money also, na? Many people, hoarding. So they reserve jewelry, they reserve money, and what all places they would uh, keep cash saved and some money, gold jewelry saved. working so hard throughout the life, but still not able to make use of that gold and jewelry and pass it on. Now, many people happen what? They passed away 60, 70, sudden say heart attack or whatever, and they know they have jewelry, they have some money. Now, what could be the situations? The couple say, the husband, wife, know they have some gold, jewelry, and some money. But imagine if they lose memory, if they don't remember, where is it? Wow, what a tragedy, what an irony. No? Now, see if they remember as well, they have. Huh? But another situation, could it not be husband is not truthful to wife or wife is not truthful to husband? So they both are a bit manipulating each other. We know we don't have this much, we have only this much, it is there. Not being truthful to each other and lying. So that he doesn't get more, she doesn't get more, I get to enjoy or I pass it on to whom I want to pass it on. This could be a situation. Another situation could be what? They both are in good health perhaps. They both are aware how much is there, genuinely they know, and where is it all stored. But the children are, maybe they don't have children. Now, whom to give this children and what to use money and all. Suppose they have children also, but the children are not reliable. Children don't understand the value of gold, jewelry, money. Children and parents don't get along. Then that if we give the children, they will anyway spoil everything. Will spoil it. So until we pass away, we'll make a will and they can fight over it. Before that, no. So many situations we see now in life. So many, how many people actually get to enjoy, work so hard during the life. Now, any part of the globe, any part, in order to build a house or in order to buy a house, leave building, buy a house, what maybe different measurements, different places, but say 1,000 square feet, 2,500 square feet, and all. Not a very spacious, 1,000 square feet, not so spacious, 2,000 square feet, and all. Now, in order to buy a house, also, one has to work minimum for how many years? What do you say? 5 years, 10 years, 15, 20? Oh no, you work easy. And it's like you go into uni, then maybe some places you take loan. Then first of all repay that loan. Cars maybe generally people don't take loan or some may be taking loan for buying cars also repaying that. Once you get through with uni loan for once the uni loan is over, then what? Okay, buy house and pay banks the loan for the house, whatever savings and all, pay that alongside, keep some money in holidays and all. And it's nearly 50 plus or 60 plus. And then then you finally get the house, the possession. How long is it? So the way the system and everything runs now, it's such a thing. One has to slog for easy 20 years or something in order to actually get what does 1,000 or 2,000 square feet. Then so many considerations, location, where to live, children, schooling and all, society, everything, lots and lots of calculations involved, heavy. So this is all more of an illusion or this thing that okay, this will make me happy, that will make me happy. This is material calculation. Material happiness means what? Just one step away. Once I have this, I will be happy. Once I get this, I will be happy. Once I get this. And when we look the irony, when we get it also still we are not happy. Even at that time also we are not happy and later on also we are not happy. We are always constantly hankering, lamenting. There's hardly any satisfaction, hardly any contentment. So this is the society and all, and in all of this ups and downs and different levels of thought process, then sometimes we want to be minimalistic, and sometimes we want to collect so many things. Now look, in places like somewhere houses or flats or buildings are like boxes, match boxes. So less space for children and family to live above. Wow. Uh, and either we find so many things stored in the house, or otherwise, okay, we keep a small house and we give all the items to some external agency and they store our items. And when needed, we go and take from them. So, point being, in material world, there is no perfect recipe. There is no solution. Material world, there are various definitions of material world. Find some of the definitions very interesting. One of the definition of material world is what? That we all are sailing in this boat and the boat is actually sinking. The boat is actually sinking. There is a hole to begin with. Now we try to fix one hole. What happens? Another hole appears from another place. You fix that hole, another hole appears from another place. Hmm. That is like the definition of material world altogether. Ishopanishad we see, Krishna tells in Ishopanishad what? This material world is perfect and complete. Even though all of this, but yet this world is perfect and complete. For a awakened sadhaka, this must be our realization, yes, this is perfect and complete. How? At an individual level, it gives us complete opportunity, full opportunity to aspire for liberation, to attain for liberation, to attain for loving devotional service at the lotus feet of the divine Papa, to build that mood, to build that consciousness. So, in that sense, yes, it is perfect and complete. See, there are four types of annihilation. Annihilation, we understand, right? Dissolution or annihilation, devastation. There are four types of devastation. One is complete devastation, in which all the material planets in the material universe are submerged in ocean altogether, are all devastated, and every living entity, all the material elements are vacuum cleaner, it sucks in, right? So all the material elements, they are kind of sucked in, or they are taken, just like when a building is what is it called, when a building is again smashed down in a proper way, so demolished, yes. So when a building is demolished, all the material elements and everything, they are done in a way that there's very less damage, so this annihilation, universal annihilation, everything, all the material planets in the universe, they are annihilated. All the material elements are demolished or sucked in. And all the living entities, they also go in, including Lord Brahma, where? In the belly of Lord Vishnu. Everyone goes in the belly of Lord Vishnu and takes rest. That is one universal annihilation. Long period of time it happens. And then again creation comes about. So that is one annihilation, universal complete annihilation. Uh, Another annihilation is what? This wherein the top three planetary systems are not annihilated, but other planetary systems within the material universe are annihilated, leaving the top three. Others are annihilated. Then third annihilation is what? Uh, Momentary annihilation. Every moment there is devastation or annihilation, right? As in every moment is over, is over. Uh, in society, in material world, we live in the past. No one can hold the present. No one can capture the present. We all are living in the past. It's gone, gone, gone. So this is momentary annihilation. Passing on, passing on. The fourth annihilation is the most interesting. What is the fourth annihilation? It's the most interesting. See, in these three annihilation, we have a role to play, undeniable. We have a role to play, but we do not have much of a say also. The fourth annihilation is where the soul, the living entity, the jiva is entitled or given more power by Krishna. And that annihilation is death or leaving this body or passing on. Now, how we shape up our life. So, in the first annihilation, universal annihilation, everyone goes in Lord Vishnu's belly. Second annihilation, top leaving the top three planets, again everything is submerged, put to rest. Hmm? Momentary annihilation, anyways, everything is put to rest in momentary annihilation. And when we will be facing death or say leaving our body, that is also an annihilation. And in that, we have a direct role to play, or we have more freedom. We can exercise more of our power. We can have more control in that. So when a sadhaka he perfects his Krishna consciousness, that is the fourth annihilation. When he perfects his Krishna consciousness, then it's a complete liberation for him. Na? That is the real annihilation. Giving up of material body, thought process, desires, and everything, and attaining service at the divine lotus feet of the divine couple. So for this, we need to prepare the mood. We need to understand. Human form of life is very rare. If something is rare, then it should be handled with care also. No? If something is rare, it should be handled with care. It's very important. Human life is the only life with responsibility. Cats and dogs don't have any responsibility of paying any bills or any other thing. It's only humans. And when our responsibility starts in, uh, like when we leave school, senior secondary school and all, when we go to college, university, from that time on, it's a different genre, it's a different reality we are stepping into. Until until going into college, uni, generally in Europe, America also, until the age of 16, 18, something like that, children still live with their parents, right? And they have a shelter. Okay, mom is providing food, mom, dad, parents are providing food. I don't need to worry about food. I don't need to worry about the Netflix. I don't need to worry about anything. The only thing maybe I need to worry about, the parents says what? Put the bin out. Okay, that maybe I need to take the pin out. Okay, that's the only thing. Otherwise, for a school goer, what responsibility? Do your school studies and play. Does a child ever, as such, generally speaking, he cannot assimilate also, I feel. And also, he's very less aware the stress my parents are going through in their relationships, the stress my parents are going through work wise, or the stress my parents are going through health wise, finance wise, and all. Huh? A child's brain cannot and mind cannot assimilate or capture such information until the age of 16 or something around that. Huh? Maybe 16 they can still sense and all, but still they sense it and then easily they can distract themselves in many other things and all. Huh? Point being, responsibility, when does it kick in? As soon as one goes into college or uni. And even in college, uni may not be so much responsibility. Fine. Why? Because parents are paying the university fee, right? Or the bank loan, or someone has paid the university fee, and I'm still now see the transition. So from school to college or leaving home, there's some transition, right? Now from uni to applying for a job, there is a transition. Now responsibility of it kicking in. See, before applying for a job, generally we find what students have time for their friends, ample time for their friends to hang out and just waste time. Hmm. Just laugh out and waste time, ample time. When applying for jobs, then some friends also separate and competition more kicks in with between friends as well, right? Oh, I get this job, she doesn't get, he doesn't get, or something. That is when maybe, depending, we may want to hide some information, not share some information and all. as long as it doesn't affect my kind of direct level of happiness. And once we start working, then everything responsibility kicks in. You know, when you start working, the first pay, second pay, and all first salary, and you start working, then what? You have to pay rent, bills, food bills, all the things, taxes, every economy then comes about. And all this responsibility. So, point being again, human life is the only life of responsibility. For animals, plants, and all, they don't have to any worry about. And for us, our responsibility before we take on any big major responsibility, the first thing we must do is control our mind and senses. Learn to control our mind and senses. Learn to develop patience. Learn to develop some maturity, some sanity in life. Perform some austerity. Otherwise, we will really find ourselves ruined in this world and take on lots of misconceptions in life. So 62 says the palace of the king was surrounded by walls made of marble with many engravings made of valuable jewels like sapphires, which depicted beautiful women with shining jewel lamps in their hands. The king's residence was surrounded by gardens wherein there were varieties of trees brought from the heavenly planets. In those trees there were pairs of sweetly singing birds and almost mad bumblebees, which made a very relishable buzzing sound. There were emerald staircases which led to lakes full of variously colored lotus flowers and lilies and swans, karandavas, chakravakakas, cranes, and similar other valuable birds were visible in those lakes. Even in some animation movies and all, our imagination may not span out this far and wide as what we see from Srimad Bhagavatam. So in society, all these movies or animation or even fiction movies, na, even if something based on real life story, still it is an adaptation or construction, something from a real life story. Na. So it's much better to study Srimad Bhagavatam. So much is in here, so much. Now a person could be interested in arts, painting, so much good for him or her to get inspiration and to do arts, painting, drawing, and all. One could be interested in this engineering and all. There's lots for everyone in studying Srimad Bhagavatam, and the best part is we are not studying something which is fiction. We are studying something which is a historical fact. So, which is a reality, which will put us in touch with reality. You know, theist or atheist, whosoever, we all are, if we see ourselves little bit observed deep down inside or on the surface also outside, we all are seeking for truth or reality. Everyone. We all want to know what is the truth. What is the truth? Newspaper, social media, all this now. What is the real truth? No misinformation and no false information or any of this truth. So when we come across studying Srimad Bhagavatam, it is the absolute truth, the absolute reality. And that is the soul is what is searching for. And this is where soul will find saturation complete. The saintly King Utanpal, hearing of the glorious deeds of Dhruva Maharaj and personally seeing also how influential and great he was, felt very satisfied for Dhruva's activities. Felt very satisfied, for Dhruva's activities were wonderful to the supreme degree. When, after concentration, King Utanpad saw that Dhruva Maharaj was suitably matured to take charge of the kingdom and that his ministers were agreeable and the citizens were also very fond of him, he enthroned Dhruva as emperor of this planet. After considering his advanced age and deliberating on the welfare of his spiritual self, King Uttanpad detached himself from worldly affairs and entered the forest. Sun is coming out or sun has come out and father is going in the forest. So I think it very nicely again brings us to the very question we started with today, right? Very enough question, right? That what should be our vision? What should be our vision? What should be our understanding? Which is more evolved? Which is more Krishna conscious? To say that brahmachari or sannyasi, that monk or renounced monk, he is my uncle. Or to say or understand what? That my uncle is a renounced monk, my uncle is a brahmachari, my uncle is a devotee. That devotee is my uncle, or that devotee is my uncle or aunt, and my uncle or aunt is a devotee. Is there a difference between these two thoughts? Okay, so we can think over it. If anyone has any comment, suggestion, then yes, it would be very nice to hear. We can think over it though. Is it one and the same thing, or could there be a gulf of difference between the two? Again, death is death in the sense, okay, someone died, and devotee also leaves the body. Externally is the same, leaving the body, and the body is not functioning, no breathing. But what matters is internally. One leaves the body, and one what? This thing dies. One dies. Now this choice or this facility or this kind of option is there amongst us, right? We have this capacity in a way to exercise or to check ourselves. What would we want? Everyone has to face that. No one can escape that. But where is our focus? Where is our vision? And what do we want? Do we want to die, meaning fall flat, or we want to leave the body? What do we see now? Someone is residing in the house and could be living for 10 years, 20 years, 30 years in the house. And comes a point what? That he is leaving the house. Why? Suppose he has bought a new house for himself, or another thing could be that he's not able to afford to live in this house. The rent is very high. He wants a low rent house. Whichever the situation, whatever the situation and all, but he knows his time is coming up living in the house. 2 months, 3 months notice, he has to pack up and move on, pack up and move on. So he moves on, he leaves the house, and suppose if he does not live in those 2, 3 months, what will happen? Council will force him, people will force him that no, your time is up, you have to move out. Likewise, who plans? We don't plan as such, but nature will force us to leave, force us to leave. And that time, how much have we settled our lives, put our equation? Anything unsettled, then we have to come back again, right, to settle the scores. If anything unsettled. So a sadhaka is one who lives life stress-free. In order to live life stress-free, that we have to settle everything in this life itself, in this life. And settling everything in this life, meaning be at peace, be at resolve. Blessed is that personality who has found resolve in his life. One who has resolve in his life is peaceful. Resolve in the sense, okay, job is going fine, peaceful, job is not going fine, peaceful. One who has resolve. And that resolve, it cannot come about just artificial. No. This resolve, we cannot force ourselves. It is good if we force ourselves, but how do we sustain? How do we sustain? So that sustainable resolve will come about only when we practice Krishna consciousness. in association of elevated devotees, realized souls, then that their vision will rub on us. Their vision, their aim, aspiration, their love for Krishna will definitely rub on us, and we will get that attitude, that practice is on two forms, na? External and internal. Externally, we change our clothing and everything. Externally, that internally also the mood has to be developed. Na? Internally, the mood has to be developed altogether. Any thoughts, questions, or comments? Yes.
I was thinking about the question that you asked. I don't really know, but to me, when it sounds like you say this monk is my uncle, then the emphasis is more on the fact that he's a monk. Whereas if you say my uncle is a monk, then the emphasis is almost on me and my possession over this person.
Yeah, good shout. So, this monk, this devotee is my uncle. So, where do we put more stress on? This devotee is my uncle. Meaning, okay, this advanced devotee is my uncle. Or my uncle is a devotee. My uncle. Where do we put stress on? Where would shout? Point being again, this devotee is my uncle. In what light am I seeing the devotee? Okay, I take him to be a devotee, but ultimately what I am saying is my uncle. This devotee, wherever the stress be, this devotee is my uncle. But ultimately, what is the message say? Okay, this devotee is my uncle. So, a devotee is a transcendental personality, right? Prabhu says no, that his body is not material as one takes initiation and all. So if I see that devotee that he is my uncle, then what? I'm bringing down a transcendental personality to material bodily calculations, material bodily relation. And in there would be a sense of mood of a bit show off in the sense, you know. We like to show off, right? Like, oh, this politician or celebrity and all is my uncle. He's my uncle. So is it okay? Then that minus will come about and this body relationship. Another word that my uncle is a devotee. So I don't. Ultimately, what is the conclusion that he's a devotee, right? And in the first instance, ultimately, what is the conclusion? That he's my uncle. Means a blood bodily relationship. I see him in that light. Blood bodily relationship light. And in the other, what is the conclusion? He's a devotee. If we take it slightly different, this doctor, he is a devotee. Or this devotee, he is a doctor. Which is better? This lawyer, say, this lawyer, he is a devotee. Or this devotee, he is a lawyer. When we say this devotee, he is a lawyer, what are we concluding? That okay, his main thing is he is a lawyer. Part-time maybe practicing Krishna consciousness. He's a lawyer first perhaps. Or that's the conclusion, say yes, this devotee is a lawyer. This lawyer is a devotee. So for someone's family member, say if someone's family member is a monk, a sannyasi, or a grasta or practicing devotee, it is such a upliftment for the family. But equally so dangerous if they think them to be in material light. Very dangerous then. Such a golden opportunity for them. If someone's uncle, say, is a sannyasi, someone in renounced order of life. Now, such a golden opportunity for him to serve his uncle. He's so close now. Such a golden opportunity to serve his uncle and get the nectar of Krishna consciousness. Easy, so close. But if he ranks, if he sees the sannyasi as his uncle, he loses it out altogether. He messes it up altogether. And when one sees him as a sannyasi, then he's evolved his vision. Then he's not seeing him in the material life. To see someone as a devotee, what does it mean? That he's a representative of Vishnu. He's a representative of Vishnu. No? These are devotees. One who are representative of Krishna. One who are sheltered by Krishna, or one who have taken shelter of Krishna. Sadhu, saint, in Sanskrit, sadhu. Now, sadhu is a general broad term amongst all Vedic literature also. There is commonness. Na? Sadhu means the commonness of sadhu is he is pure, someone or someone who is supposed to be pure. Pure. Externally, internally, at heart, thoughts, desires, who is not manipulative, who is not political, who is not egoistic. Who speak the truth, who is humble, kind, gentle, and furthermore such saintly qualities. That is the qualities of a sadhu. And Bhakta is one who has taken shelter of the internal potency of Krishna. Or one who is practicing Krishna consciousness in simpler terms, one who is chanting, reading, hearing, associating with devotees, taking prasad. Now one could be a sadhu, as in one could be pure also. But could he be a devotee? One could be pure. In Srimad Bhagavatam, very beautiful 1.5.12 it says, Nashkarmyam api achyuta bhava varjitam. Nashkarmyam api achyuta bhava varjitam. Na shobhate jnanam alam niranjanam. Uta puna shashvat abhadram ishvare. Na charpita karma api cha akaranam. Nashkarmyam api achyuta bhava varjitam. Nashkarmyam meaning selfless. Sadhuna, selfless personality. So one who is a selfless personality, he is not very egoistic, he does not have any mundane desires or his self-centered desires and like that. So he is very free, selfless. So Nashkarmyam api, although selfless, but Achyuta Bhava Varjitam, one who does not have sentiment for Krishna, for Achyuta, one who does not have that sentiment. Nashkarmyam api Achyuta Bhava Varjitam. Na Shobhate Jnanam Alam Niranjanam. Then it does not suit, it does not befit, it does not glorify that whatever knowledge and whatever howsoever surrendered he is. But if he is not taken shelter of Krishna, or if he does not have that loving sentiment towards Krishna. And what to speak of someone who is acting like a karmi altogether. So point being again, sadhu, yes, someone who is pure, gentle, kind, compassionate, and everything on those lines. But devotee, he is a natural sadhana. His natural devotee, bhakta, is one what? Who has got loving sentiment towards Krishna. There are many people we see, different traditions in Vedic custom and outside of Vedic custom also, different traditions we see. People, they are, say, a bit religious or pious, or they have these good qualities, but have they got love or surrender towards Krishna? They've got these divine qualities, or they harbor or value lots of qualities. Now, this is also a thing in society. People appreciate qualities a lot, not the source behind these qualities. Kindness, gentleness, truthfulness, morality, and all. But the cause of all that is a person, divine person, Krishna. And when we appreciate more the root cause of all qualities, Krishna, then those qualities will come about. Qualities are what? They are the energies of Krishna. Na? All these qualities are the energies of Krishna. So when we love and serve Krishna, then naturally his energies will follow. Just like we see in societal sense, na? A president or prime minister, before he goes somewhere, his security reaches before, right? Before the president or prime minister goes to any meeting or any place, his security and other ministers and all, they reach. And they're always ensuring, okay, what is the next schedule for Prime Minister or President, and we make arrangements. So when we serve Krishna, when we love and serve Krishna, all divine qualities will follow. All divine qualities will come about. But if we just after divine qualities and don't develop that loving relationship with Krishna, then actually we wouldn't get those real sublime divine qualities as well. So it is all about developing a mood, a vision in the practice of Krishna consciousness. How do we see, in what light do I see devotees? Now Dhruva Maharaj returned home, returning home. Now his father, he can see him as my son, or he can see him as a devotee as well. If he sees Dhruva as my son, then it's a different ball game. And if he sees Dhruva as my devotee, as a devotee, then it's a different thing. Very different. So this transition has to be made, and this has to be made for ourselves in our life as well. So yes, it is much better to see my family members as devotee, and not just I can just see my family members as devotees, meaning they should actually be practicing Krishna consciousness. So yes, my family member is a devotee. But if I take a devotee to be just like my family member, then it's such a golden opportunity, but messed it up or not making the best use of it. And yeah, ultimately it is the same destination, 6 feet land we all will take. Some may take a bit more than 6 feet. Uh, or fire, or consumed by water, or consumed by some wild animals and all. That is the destination of the body, but the destination of the soul, that we have the choice to decide, that we have a choice to fix up. Yeah. So dying is for the body, but for the soul is leaving the body, which is in consciousness, which is in awareness, which is in knowledge. The more we start developing a detachment with this body, we will realize peace. Self love, self care does not mean pamper the body. Self love, self care means loving Krishna, who is the source of the self. That is the best self love, that is the best self care. Dhruva had so many opportunities, no? So many things he could have done other than Krishna consciousness, but he did Krishna consciousness. And this is the best self help, self love. So, yes,
I'm just wondering, when Dhruva Maharaj was coming back, everybody was singing his praises. Everybody was really excited about, him essentially becoming a devotee, having darshan. How do they know that this is happening?
divine news spread. Divine news spread, no? The way Dhruva Maharaj was in the forest, but and he captured the entire cosmos and this thing, the breathing say of the entire cosmos and also including the kingdom also. I know. And Narad Muni, no? So the glories of a devotee, they will be spreading. They cannot be just not spreading. When one is loving Krishna altogether, then just time, in due course of time, it comes about. The appreciation, the respect, the honor, and everything. So, Narad Muni is he not watching or looking after his disciple? He is watching and looking after his disciple. And so pleasure the spiritual master feels when he sees his disciple advancing. In societal sense, mundane sense, parents feel such a joy na? When children start walking, going to school, college, uni, clearing exam, getting jobs and all things like that. So, and here, Narad Muni, wouldn't he be super excited to see his disciples such nicely advancing in Krishna consciousness? So, this how does this news spread and all? Well, the energies of Krishna, na? When someone is becoming Krishna conscious, the energies of Krishna they will glorify and they will make spread this news all together. The culture and the society and the environment is there. And when he was returning, everyone were full of joy. So overall point is a devotee is never at loss. Is never at loss. Practicing Krishna consciousness. This is real fame. This is tangible fame. So we should be enamored by this reality and we should make our way towards this reality. Thus this
Thank you.
self-care or self-care or self-hate or self-deprivation. See, depression, the world struggles with depression. No? Depression is what? Depression is another form of self-obsession. Depression is another self-obsession only, which makes us go overthinking and depression. And in Krishna consciousness, self-obsession has to be there, but they have to be channeled separately. Self has to stay, obsession has to stay. Both come together towards Krishna. Self is becoming obsessed with Krishna. That is the scope there. Otherwise, if we are just self-obsessed, then it will lead us to depression. So just to end, this is for our own contemplation, our own meditation, for us to think about. And of course, we have this thing to, of course, naturally to think about what is that quality uh, which is an asset in material life, but it's a liability. It's a complete liability in pure Krishna consciousness. It is invalid in pure Krishna consciousness, but it is an asset. Without having this quality, we cannot become Krishna conscious. And in pure Krishna consciousness, we would never want this quality. Also, to say, see, our life, if we analyze and check ourselves, what do we do? Only two things we do. This is our life altogether, everyone's. Only these two things. We are bound up by these two things only, say. What two things? One is seeking attention. Everyone seeking attention. Another is making impression. Trying to make an impression and trying to seek attention. And this is the circle of life. Cycle or circle of life. We love seeking attention. We are attention seekers. Everyone, boy, girl, man, woman, elderly, young, old, whosoever, seeking attention and creating an impression, making an impression. This is the cycle. And in Krishna consciousness, practicing Krishna consciousness, when we divert all attention towards the divine, when we divert all our, and when we are impressed by their loving relationship, that is what we want to develop. So Dhruva Maharaj also, na, perhaps seeking attention, creating impression, but this is the sadhana, the practice, the meditation, the purification. This is gradual evolvement of sadhana. This is how it should be. He realized there's no point seeking attention. Society meaning seeking attention. The more I seek attention, the more I go in this calculation, appreciative and depreciative. I rank myself, how much points I'm getting, how much points I'm losing, and naturally creating impression, making impression. And irony, look what impress whom we are trying to impress, worldly people. Has anyone ever benefited by impressing world? Can worldly people be impressed also? Can I impress any worldly person? No. Only Krishna can be impressed. As in Krishna can be only satisfied. Devotees can be satisfied. If I'm any worldly person, I can never be satisfied. Doesn't matter how much attention I'm seeking or giving or how much impression I'm creating or making or getting. Never be satisfied. If I'm any iota in contact with matter. But if I'm in contact with Krishna, then yes, that is the best impression I will be making. And when we all have an attention towards attraction, or we all are attracted towards attention. But when we bring Krishna in this equation all together in the center, then we will find sublimity in meaning and attention and creating the everlasting impression. Okay, on this note, we'll rest the study here. Try to see Monday, try to see chapter 10 onwards. Thank you very much for your kind attention and participation and encouragement. ग्रंथ श्रीमद् भागवतम महापुराण की जय, श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय, जय गौर प्रेमानंदी।
Bhakta Shishma ki jai.